G'day punters, this is going to be a short video on replacing the batteries CR1632 in the remote sensors for the AirbagMan airbags. So what I've got here is the gauge that's usually plugged into a cigarette light adapter. I have mine plugged in the center console on the Land Cruiser so I can see it remotely, or the pressures in the airbags remotely. I'll show you a little bit later what that looks like. The tool that's supplied with the remote sensor kit that pulls the remote sensor apart, and you see some batteries. Now, something I noticed yesterday when I was looking at this tool, it actually broke. It was split in half. There's a little hole, you'll see that right there. That's part of the formation of this tool, and it's the only place that secures it throughout the whole radius. So I've stuck some construction adhesive, you can probably see that in the center there, just in there, just to hold it in place and give it a bit more security. So what do I do now? I've got to take the remote sensor off. That's pretty simple. There it is there, and there's that part of the tool which screws into there. Now I'm going to have to just take a break here because I need to hold the brass fitting and unscrew the remote sensor. Okay, I've loosened the sensor off and I can just unscrew it now. Probably do it by hand. It's going to let some air out. There's probably about 7 or 8 pounds of air in there. So that's my left sensor. There's here a little L on it. I'll take it back over here to the table and I'm going to set up the tripod to do the rest. Using the other side of the tool now, that's the side of the tool that I used to remove the sensor from the air fittings. I'm going to use the other side of the tool now. Once I pull out a little lock mechanism in the top of this sensor, you'll see a little tang just where my finger is, and I just grab that and just pull it out. That locks this inside part in so it doesn't unwind itself. Using the other side of the tool, as I mentioned previously, put it in and unscrew the internal workings of the sensor. So that'll come off very shortly. There we go. Inside here, the top is the battery. Remove the battery, only comes out one way. See, it's just about to pop out. Now I know this battery's okay, so I'm not going to replace it. Don't touch the positive and negative sides, try and keep your fingers on the sides. Put the new battery in, say I know this battery's okay. And it's just a reverse process of installing it all back together. So screw it back up. I'll do this up finger tight and you'll feel it bottom out. It's about there. Turn it back over. Don't need a tool at the moment. This locking mechanism again, there's a little brake just in here. That little tab will fit in that little brake. Hopefully won't fit in there, so I'll just rotate it. Fits in there. Then I'll screw that back onto the sensor in the vehicle. Back up the sensor now, or the air fitting. I'm just going to screw the sensor back on. So I'm doing it up finger tight at the moment. There's a rubber seal, and you can see that fitting there starting to turn now. So I just need to get both hands in there, and I'm going to hold the fitting and just do that sensor up finger tight. That fitting's back in now, and what I mean by finger tight is you'll feel it bottom out. Try not to do it up too tight. Again, there's a rubber seal there and you don't want to crush it. Back in the cab of the Land Cruiser now. The sensor gauge goes into my 12-volt accessory outlet. Just make sure I seat it. Turn the ignition on. It shows 8 and 6 psi respectively. We already know one side's got no air in it because I took that sensor off. That won't reset until turn the air compressor on, it moves a little bit. I need to gas up or air up the air tank, because I know it's a little bit low at the moment. So I'll turn on my compressor. Back down to the airbox, you can see the AirbagMan gauge shows 0 and 4. 0 will be the left hand side and 4 psi the right hand side. I've aired up the tank. Now I've got to unisolate the airbag system from the compressor. That means it will make air available to the airbag system. This little valve in the back here isolates the airbags. So I've made air available to the airbags now. Now I'm just going to pump it up to probably 6 or 7 pounds. Shows 7 pounds on each side on that. Well, came back a bit. I just pump that up a little bit more, and I'm going to isolate the airbag system again, and we'll have a look at the internal gauges. I reckon they'll probably still show about 8 or 6. I've come back into the cab now. You can see the gauges 9 psi each side. The AirbagMan gauge in the airbox still reads about 7 or 8 psi each side, so it's pretty close. I have taken this for a little drive, about 4 kilometers, just to try and equalize the pressures up so I get an accurate reading from those sensor gauges.